Okay. Welcome back to Black Clover Anime Review, episode 112. This one I'm viewing the 167th episode, 62nd episode of the anime, The Great War Breaks Out, and the 280th chapter of the manga. Now, I did mention that there was going to be an announcement basically with this one. Yes, it was announced today, via Crunchyroll, that the Black Clover anime is ending at episode 170 on March 30th. I don't know how I feel about this. Well, I guess it was a long time coming. In the case of basically the series was actually supposed to end late last year, if in fact the pandemic had not happened. So instead of, going to original content for this arc, they decided to sort of in a way end the series. Probably because they cut up with the manga. That's probably the reason for this. Yeah, so how long do I think they'll take before they probably bring the series back? If they do, probably a year, at most. Yes, that's just my personal theory, anyways. Yes. Yeah. Now this episode finishes adapting chapter 239 and goes through the entirety of chapters 240 to 243. The episode picks up not long after the events of last week's episode, where we have the Dark Tribe making a move. Well, 2 out of 3 of them anyways. Well, Xenon himself already made his move in the last episode. This one we see Vanika, she goes into the Heart Country, the Heart Kingdom, where Dr. Clay was. Did you add this scene here with her beating up one of her minions? Which this scene was actually not in the actual manga. This particular moment is complete in the original. And then we cut to the palace where, of course... and also, I think his name is Dante, the leader of Dark Trade. He basically is going after Yami. He's like, this world is like, saying the world is so boring. Yeah, I do appreciate a lot of his dialogue is pretty much attacked from the manga. I do appreciate that. Though they have this thing here where they have a shadow basically of potentially, I think it's supposed to be his devil that possesses him. Yep. And then we cut to the palace of the Heart Kingdom, where basically people there is Labrikia, the queen, Undyne, Charmy, who's still chubby, Mimosa, Noelle, Leopold, and of course Luck. Of course, they basically wonder what the heck Asta is because Luck wants to spar with both Leopold and Asta, but also back home basically deliver some gifts. And of course, and here's the thing: in the manga, Noelle tells Labrikia to stop spoiling. Charmy tells her once. In the anime, she does it twice. Stop spoiling with all this food. It's a bit of an extension of what they do in the manga. Now, in case you're curious, I almost kind of forgot she was in this portion because it's been a while. Like last year when this chapter was released. So, pardon me for forgetting the fact she appears after that one brief bit because she didn't do very much at all. She's still chubby. I'm hoping she eventually loses some weight here. Yep. And then they get informed like, oh no, something's happening. They turn on the water windows and it's the Spade Kingdom attacking the Heart Kingdom. And Lapriga basically notices Vanika is leading it, one who's Magicana, the one who harmed her, and the one who killed Noelle's mother. And Noelle's like basically clenching her fist like, man, she really wants to beat the crap out of Vanika for killing her mother. Meanwhile, though, at the Black Bowl headquarters, we actually have... Oh, yeah, and also, they mentioned this episode. This actually was not mentioned in manga, where Rail and Charlotte went back to the capital for Captain's meeting. Yeah, that was actually something they added in, because that line was not in the actual anime itself. My guess is the reason why they put that line in there, because Rail and Charlotte are actually not in the chapters that they adapted for this episode. So it'd be kind of awkward to put in two characters who actually were not in the actual chapter itself, which I do appreciate them doing that. So right off, I went to the captain's meeting. Well, that kind of makes sense because they're both captains. Asta goes back to the Black Bull's hideout with, of course, Fenrir. Fenrir, of course, goes back to the capital to get Yami. They also added a scene in here that actually was not in the actual manga. It's something featuring Gordon. Yes, a character who is shockingly doesn't do anything in this arc. You briefly see him at his house, where basically we see his parents, his sister, his grandma, and the dog, where he's still continuing his studies. And of course, well, his mother tried to feed him a snack, and his father's like, "Hey, isn't that the same thing you fed me on our first date?" She's like, "Yep." And then the sister's like, "I'd like to hear more about how you two first met." And Gordon's like, "I'll just go back to my studies." Yeah, this scene I think is kind of hilarious, and I don't know if it's just me, or did basically the writer of the series basically made the Gordon's family a spoof of the Addams family. Because basically, his sister basically is almost a spitting image of Wednesday Gomez, of Wednesday. You have his father basically like Gomez, and of course the wife like Morticia. Very similar mannerisms. Heck, they even dress very similar. Well, not in the case of, I would say Wednesday, and I would say that his sister looks like Wednesday. And as for Gomez's wife, Morticia, well, his mother kind of looks like Morticia, except she's wearing the same outfit. I'd say similar personality, but not the same exact design. Unlike, let's say, his sister was a complete ripoff of the character. And we do get a chance to see Vanessa's new outfit, which you got at least got preview the fact that she actually, it's almost like she's pairing her underwear normally that she normally wears, but it's a slightly altered attire where she actually shows off her belly, which normally when she does this, she's usually in her underwear, because a lot of the time she wears basically this strapless top where she basically looks like a witch. Here, well, it's basically kind of like a bra plus shorts. That's basically what she's wearing here. And Gray doesn't, now looking at her outfit in the episode, the way it looks like her outfit didn't really change very much. If you want to think of one character's outfit who had zero change with, is Goosh. It's the same exact outfit. He received no change at all. Gordon, I'm not surprised they didn't change his outfit because he's not featured in the manga. So they basically chatted for a while, and of course, Vanessa's back to drinking again after not drinking for 6 months. Yeah, apparently he's back in the bottle again. Now, in case you're curious still, did this happen in the manga too? Yes. Yes, it did. And they're chatting for a while, and then I love this little moment at the end of the anime where we see Dante outside the window. He's floating. I'm thinking, why the heck is he there? And of course, we see Henry, who actually he's kind of in the chat, but he doesn't do very much. He just activates the Black Bull, he activates Black Bull headquarters into the Raging Bull mode to take on Dante. Doesn't work very much, and eventually figures out about Rouge, and then he breaks the window. Of course, this after he briefly beats up Asta. He's like, you're the perfect person for me. Be my woman. And Vanessa's like, huh? Yep. I think it's kind of hilarious, the fact that he wants Vanessa to be his woman. I get the fact Vanessa's hot, but she's not interested in you, Dante. She wants Yami, not frickin' you. Though he also makes the same offer to Gray in the very next, not long after this. I will get to that probably next week. So then we have this wonderful scene. Basically, we have Asta fighting, of course, more fighting with Dante. And then, of course, Gray runs out of energy, collapses. And then we see Goosh, Vanessa, and Gray outside. And then they actually made an addition here where we actually see Dante making the stones into a giant sword, similar to the sword that Asta uses, and stabs Goosh. Now, in the manga, you don't see blood, but he's clearly stabbed. In the anime, yeah, you do see lots of blood. So, no censoring here, and then, of course, he collapses. Asta, of course, gets angry and goes berserk, and kind of goes to a similar sequence where he did back in the Witch's Forest arc, where he goes nuts, attacks Dante. It's actually an extension of the fight from the manga, which in the manga, I think this was a brief 1 or 2 pages, while in the anime, it's a good 5 minutes. And this lasts the whole episode. And he gets a mark in on Dante. He's like, how dare you mark me? And, that's where the episode ends. Yep. Pretty good episode. I'm just sad this series is going to end in just 8 episodes. Yep, 8 episodes until we say goodbye to this series. Well, I'm hoping just for 1 year because, well, there's still plenty of manga they can adapt. But the question is, how far are they going to go? Because with this episode, they got to chapter 243. This is 280. They are exactly, I think it's like 37 chapters behind the manga right now. So I'm not that surprised they're going to end it briefly in the series. So, chapter picks up. Now, this is chapter 280, Surging Disaster. Chapter starts off basically not long after we left off last chapter. We see, Jack open a wall. We see the vice captain basically other battle with these two demons, and they fight. Yep, it's delicious. Yes, Nemeth. And then we see on the outside, we see Ralph along with the necromancer, and we see various monsters. Yes. And of course, Melion is like, hello, where its fire starts now. Yep, but she takes on the giant demon, which kind of looks like the same demon from the flashback scene at the start of the actual anime, where the giant demon was defeated with the first Wizard King, and of course you have Yuno taking on, well, it looks like, yeah, it takes on Zeon. We have Charlotte taking on Dante, and then we see that Zeon, Dante, and Vanessa have gone. Vanika has gone 100%. Vanika, of course, looks like she has like a V with her outfit. Dante is simply an extension of his attire with the big. I would say Xenon's got the most interesting look because it's sort of more the bony outfit he's had. Mm-hmm. And of course, well, Dante, of course, is taking on, well, Jack Kirby's basically filleting him. And then Vanika basically is like talking to Charlotte, like, man, are you a meanie or what? And I think it's Federer's like, Charlotte, I like you so much. And still, alright, wanna come with me? Yep. And this is Charlotte. How? The roses. And of course, well, Yuno takes on Zeon. The vice captain still face off against the demons. Die with him. Yep. Then we cut to outside where this demon has shown up in, I think it's the elf village, or at least someplace. Yeah, it's that demon is basically come to life, and that's where the chap. Wait, hold on. Oh wait, that's outside the space. I think it's outside the capital. We see briefly like the capital, the Purple Orcas. Briefly, I would say it's in the capital. And then we finally see Asta. It looks like though he's getting exhausted. Maybe he's gonna take on the demon, and maybe this will be a way to him get pardoned for basically, well, for being accused of being a devil. It's distinctly possible we might get a chance to see that. Who knows? Yep. But I'm going to give this chapter roughly a 10 out of 10. It's a really cool chapter. Like the ending. And I'm definitely looking forward to the next chapter whenever it comes out. Yep. So yeah, that's the episode review. I have one more video I'm going to do today. And that's a review for, well, a comic corner. Yep. Where one is talking about a Batman trade. And one is a Wolverine trade I never thought I would ever discuss. Yeah, but I'm finally discussing because I'm halfway through the actual ongoing series of this. Okay? See you next video. Bye.